Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another Fireside Chat episode. With me today is Sonja Nesbit, Managing Director in the Strategic Communications segment. Sonja is primarily focused on healthcare and life sciences sector, and she's a member of the Public Affairs and Government Relations practice. Thanks for joining me today, Sonja.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
So, one thing we've been talking about a lot in these fireside chats is the way that kind of the last 2 years have changed and morphed and shaped the ways that we're doing business with our clients, and how a lot of what we personally have gone through and bring to the table makes us further experts in what we're able to offer. Obviously, the last 2 years have seen everything from the pandemic that we're still going through and overcoming, as well as social justice movements and just a heightened consciousness of what it means to kind of live and work in this country and beyond. So, what we want to focus on today, and what I'd love to hear from you, is kind of how has the last 2 years changed in terms of the client work you're doing, and how have you seen, if at all, some of this collective higher consciousness impact the type of work that clients are asking of you and maybe your approach to it as well?
No, I appreciate the question. It's a great one. As you point out, we've seen a lot over the last 2 years with the pandemic, social justice, racial equity, reckoning, if you will. It's a movement. Some of us see it as a reckoning as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the situation in the Ukraine and other things have, I think, motivated a number of clients to see themselves a little bit more as, and this is in a very balanced way, of being a little bit more civic minded than they normally would. While also, to be clear, civic minded by also protecting their bottom line as well. And there's a way to engage and to do so in a very smart and a positive way. I think a lot of tension the clients are feeling is not only from their ability to want to be engaged and involved, again, at a civic level, helping to come to the table with federal policymakers to help address some of the issues that they're at the forefront, but they're also feeling some pressure, I think, from their investors and from their employees to do the same, and from their client population. But particularly in my work, you've seen on the healthcare and life sciences side, a greater desire and appreciation to look at issues related to the pandemic response, gaps and inequities in that, from vaccine diplomacy efforts to trying to be more responsive to folks who are isolated, particularly the elderly who are isolated because they can't see family or they weren't able to see family during the mask mandates and the other limitations on movement. You're also seeing people talk about health equity and think about it in a way that not only promotes greater equity and greater healthcare outcomes across people of color, no matter where you are, even on the economic spectrum where you sit, you're so impacted by health equity, but to think about it not only as a way to level the playing field in the healthcare area, again, to ensure people have equitable healthcare outcomes, but it's also a realization that the pandemic brought out that there are some inequities in the system, particularly where we saw frontline workers at the start of the pandemic lose their lives, whether you're a bus driver, a subway operator, a frontline, nurse folks who are working in nursing homes. There really now is a greater appreciation for how to line up the services, the products, whatever you're doing on the corporate side to ensure that it's responding to the moment, that it is, impactful in a positive way. And in doing so, I think corporations have found that this allows them to, again, be responsive to the moment, be a part of the conversation on how to make things better. And, and do so in a way where they had to navigate and balance out the need to be able to do this while also not falling victim of being seen as being woke, if you will, and having to dance around that threat of cancel culture, but doing it in a way that I think is smart, effective, and reasonable.
Really appreciate the insights that you shared, and I know that our colleagues and our greater network who will be watching this also will appreciate all of your insights that you shared. So thank you.
We appreciate you too. Thank you so much.